Hey guys, welcome back to Head Up Rugby League. Today I'm joined by Josh and Liam as usual. How's it going, guys?
Feeling good. Feeling awesome.
Yeah, it's always great to have a podcast, just the three of us, the OGs, back to the old days. You know, it's pretty good.
Good to see you guys doing. Today we're going to be doing our MVP for every NRL team this year, from bottom to top, 16 to 1. There should be some controversial ones in here, I think.
Yeah, especially because teams obviously do this. They don't call them MVP. They call them Player of the Years, but we've just called it MVP, sort of like, because that's what we're going with. But I heard some teams have different like standards on theirs. Like some teams you have to play a certain amount of games. Some teams they base it on like a player vote. But I've sort of, I don't know about you guys, I've sort of based on just when I watch the game, who I think for the whole season's been the guy for them. There's been a couple that there's some guys only played 15 games, but you sort of got to take that into consideration, I guess. But yeah.
I really like, especially like a player could have like 2 great games out of the whole season, and then everyone thinks he's the best player in the team, but it's the guy who really sticks it out, who gets that like just solid flat line, doesn't go perform under, may perform up, but just keeps that consistency all level. That's how I've gone as well.
Yeah, sweet.
We're starting off number 16. We've got the West Tigers. Joshy, do you want to start us off, mate?
This one was a tough one because for the other ones as well, I was wondering, like, do I value a 15-try winger or do I value a halfback? I think this one I went with just based on when this guy was playing, they looked slightly better, and ever since he got injured, they haven't really won since, I don't think. They've only... I'm going with Jackson Hastings. He got injured before that Warriors homecoming game, and I don't know what their record is since, but some of their games that he just pretty much won, those games they beat against the Rabbitohs, and I think I just had to go with him just because when he's on the field, they're more of a chance of winning. So, yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely, yeah. Oh, I mean, I've always loved Offengowan, and I think he's just such a beast player for them, but honestly, I am going to have to go with you with that one, on same as you, Josh, for Jack Hastings. He's ever since the injury, they just haven't been performing well, and he's provided so much to the team. So there's not much more to say. Gotta agree with you.
Yeah, that's a fair call because I had Jackson Hastings / Joe Offengowan. So.
Yeah, I thought Liam was gonna for the super coach, but
I wanted to. Like, he's definitely my favorite player. But if you just look, I was looking through their games, and they were just playing so well with Hastings in there, and then it just ever since they just haven't found that right momentum. So, but yeah, so you gotta go for the stats and just who's been playing the best over your favorite players. You can't just be picking favorite players. Sean Johnson, but
well, that's not happening. And it's one of those things, like, I feel like with the shitter teams, it's a lot easier to sort of see who the best player's been and most valuable. Like, when it got to the good teams, you could almost pick 4 or 5 guys, but with the shitter teams, you can almost pick out a couple players that you think are most valuable. Anything else on the Tigers, or are we going to go to the next one?
No, move on.
So it's the Titans here. This could be another clean sweep. Who you got here, Liam?
Oh
no.
It's honestly, it's tough. I want to pick Fafita, but you know what? I'm gonna go. Wait, Fafita plays. Oh no, sorry, wrong person. I'm thinking. God, I'm having a tough one.
Boys. Be prepared.
I'm having a tough one, Josh. Connor, you take it away, mate. You take it away.
I went with Beau Fermor. I think he was just solid all year without David. Pretty much gone the whole year. He had so many injuries, and I reckon he really carried that forward pack. So, yeah, I went with Beau Fermor.
He'd have been my most. I went Tino just because felt like it was just an easy option, you know. But Fermor, like, especially at the start of the season, I got him in for Supercoach. I was like, who the fuck's this guy that's getting 80 points every round? And then as soon as I got him in, it dropped off a bit. But yeah, I think their backs have been a shocker this season. So I think Tino or Beau Fermor is the go. But Liam, you're the deciding vote then.
You know, I was yeah, both him. He's been playing really well, and especially Fafita's the injuries and that. But I was actually thinking between Tino and Sam Lasone. I just think those two players,
yeah,
Sam Lasone's had a really good season. So, but yeah, if I'll definitely go Tino as well. So if we're going for the decider, I'll go Tino.
Tino, okay. So Fermor was a good shout, though. I wasn't actually expecting that, but Liam, you weren't prepared for the last two. Knights time, you have to just, based on what you've seen from your team this year, who has been your most valuable player?
You know what? This is going to be, I don't think any of you guys are actually going to pick him, but I'm actually going to go Adam Clune. I think with the lack of not having a good half at the start of the year, and everyone we've lost our best players, and we're getting in these new guys. Adam Clune stepped up to fill the shoes of we had Mitchell Pearson there. I think he's been playing bloody brilliant, and he's actually been saving the Knights a lot of the time. But obviously, we haven't had the best season in the world. But I just think I couldn't ask for more from him. He's been absolutely brilliant. I hated him in the first 3 weeks. I think even the first 3 weeks, I think if we go back, you can actually hear me say that, who the hell is this guy? I don't want him in the team, but I'm actually so glad he's stuck around and he's actually played a bloody great season. So I'm going Adam Clune.
It's an interesting swerve because a lot of people say the reason the Knights have been bad this year is because of the halves. So it's quite interesting.
I think he's performed when needed and when it's required. And I just think if without him, I think we would have lost a hell of a lot more games and by more points for the games that we lost. So,
Connor, who you got?
Not Adam Clune.
Oh, what?
No, I went.
How rude.
I went with Jacob Saifidi. He's been pretty good. Yeah, so not into the Knights, to be honest. Like, I find their games pretty boring, but he's in a poor Knights team this year, I think.
That's all right.
I think the Knights Titans game is going to be pretty entertaining this week. It's either going to be an absolute laugh fest or it's going to be high scoring. So
at least me and Josh don't support a pretender team.
I'd rather be a pretender team
than. I struggled with this one. I thought their attack's bad, their defense is bad. I was going to go with Clemmer, and then I thought, it's pretty. I don't think they'll give him MVP because of all the dramas he's had. He's probably had a great season. Then I was like, maybe the wingers. The wingers have combined for 25 tries between them. So I just thought, fuck it, go with Edric Lee. It was between. I see Dom Young having some shockers, so we've got to split 3 ways. So
to be fair, in the last half of the season, Dominic Young has actually performed really well, and he's a lot of the commentators and a lot of the analytics they're saying this Dominic Young guy is this new kid on the block that can show up and be one of the best, and he's actually got one of those top speeds. I think he's in the top 6 or 7. He's pretty damn quick on that wing. But yeah,
how are we going to decide this? I'm not really happy with my Edric Lee pick, to be honest. So I'm happy to go Saifidi or I don't know. Unless we just back the Knights fan Liam's pick. I don't know.
You know what? I'm happy to go Saifidi. It's a bloody great player.
I think, it's sort of, as I said before when Connor was walking, it's quite hard to pick from these teams, I think. But once it gets to the easier teams, I feel like we'll have a lot of different picks. But we did have 3 different picks there, so the Warriors.
Yeah. All right, Josh, take it away. Who have we got?
So we actually talked about this at my work this week, because I said we'll go in the prize giving afterwards, maybe, and who's going to be Player of the Year this year? Who's going to win the Mannering Medal? I think it's called. And I'm like, everyone was like, oh, Harris. I'm like, he's only played 10 games. Like Curran, I'm like, since the injury, he's been terrible. And then someone actually said Sean Johnson. I'm like, he's like 2 field goals. He won us 2 games from. I'm like, no. And then I read something today that really stuck with me. We've won 7 games this year, and 6 games this year, including the bye. And AFB's been in all of them, and he missed 6 games. So, and his numbers look amazing, and he may be overpaid, but I think for for what he does, like his post-contact meters, I'm happy to give it to AFB, considering when we win, he's in the team, and when he's not in, we haven't won a game. So it'll be interesting to see you guys, though. I'm keen.
Yeah, what about you, Connor?
Yeah, this one I was really torn between because I had Adam Blake at first, but
I've got
Kossi,
two as well. I'm the same as you.
Kossi has had a really good second half of the season, as well as Wade Egan.
Yeah,
Kossi
was one. Yeah,
Kossi was absolutely terrible at the start, but he's starting to like grow on everyone. He scores pretty much every week now. Not that he's like.
Was that the game that we went to, the one that Josh didn't go to? Was he the guy who scored that you were telling everyone to get on?
Yeah,
First try score, yeah.
He's got a hat trick.
Yeah.
He'll get most improved this year.
Kossi fan.
He'll get most improved, guaranteed. But I do think Egan's one of those guys as well that's like, you don't really see him scoring tries. I just want him to run more, and I still think that's the big issue with him. But he's been another guy that's actually probably played for the shirt. But yeah. What about you, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as Connor. At first, I was instantly thinking AB, but yeah, like as you said, Josh, those 6 games that you did win, he was there, and the ones that he weren't or wasn't up to it, they weren't winning, and so I was honestly thinking he's got to be the best. And I think in our favorite players podcast that me and Connor did, I think I picked him as my favorite player just because of how much of a beast he is. But then I was looking through and I was just like, God, there's been so many good players. Like, I mean, Bunty's had a great season. Curran, even Reece Walsh at the start of the year, he was looking good. But I just think ever since he signed that Broncos contract, doesn't want, like, he's not really playing the best of his ability at the moment. So, but I'm going to stick with Adam Fanua-Blake on this one. I just think just the impact he's had for those wins as well he's been bloody great.
Sweet. This one was also a tough one for me. It's the Bulldogs, and I've seen a lot of people say it's between their 2 new signings this year, Burton or Addo Carr. I'm wondering, what's your thoughts, Liam, on that? Is it one between those two, or is there another guy you have your eyes on?
I mean, honestly, I don't know about you two, but those are the 2 players that stand out to me. I loved going to that Warriors and Bulldogs game, and even though you didn't get to see much of the Burton Bombs, as everyone's saying how amazing they are, but just seeing Addo Carr on that wing it's just a sight to see. You just got to go and see it. Honestly, I think at the start of the season he had a bit of a rough one. But he's picked it up really well, and they're finishing strong and doing pretty well above 13th. 13th. So
12th.
yeah, I'm definitely 12th. Sorry, 12th. I'm definitely have to go with Addo Carr on this one.
Yeah, I was really torn between Matt Burton and Aaron Schott. They were the 2 players I was torn between. So I was leaning a bit more to Burton just because of his kicking game, but I think Schott defensively is very nice. So I'd take those 2.
Yeah. I was sort of between Burton and Addo Carr, and then I saw Addo Carr scored like 16 or 17 tries this season, and no one else in the team's gone over 10. So obviously a few of them are just easy catches, but I thought Addo Carr, I feel like that's considering like how bad they've been this year, like at times, and he's still being able to score tries and look dangerous.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll go Addo Carr, yeah. Who's next? The Manly Seagulls. This was a tough one for me as well. Who you got here, Connor?
I've gone with Ola Kawatu. I think he's been a stud this year. He's been a standout for Manly. I think it was pretty much between him and Garrick for me. But yeah, I've gone with Ola Kawatu. I think he's just an absolute unit. Who do you?
Yeah, honestly, I'm torn with Garrick and Cherry Evans. Just the 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, Seagulls haven't been really playing well recently, and they're in a bit of a we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, if they're dysfunctional or not. But I just think those 2 players, honestly, I mean, a lot of the players stand out. Dylan Walker, Jason Saab, but honestly, I'm gonna go Ruben Garrick here. I just think just the work and shift he puts out for the Seagulls every week, I think is is just really mean and he's really consistent. One of those players. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I'm definitely going to stick with Reuben Garrick on this one.
Yeah, so my vote doesn't really matter here because you guys both mentioned Garrick, but I had it between Cherry Evans and Travojevic, to be honest. Just Jake Travojevic, like he's one of those guys that never on the stats looks, but when you actually watch some of their games, he's like everywhere. Like sort of reminds me a bit of Mannering, like watching him back in the day. Like makes 3 or 4 tackles in a set, does 2 or 3 hit ups as well the next set. But I'm happy to go with Garrick. Obviously, last season was so amazing. It's hard to get up to that same standard this year, but he still had such a good season. But it's tough. So Garrick's the one here. What's the next one, Liam? Do you know? Do you want me to find it?
It is.
We've got the Dragons.
Dragons.
Which I feel like we all should have the same, but
yeah, I feel like we should. But I mean, I'm gonna go Ben Hunt. Who else is gonna go Ben Hunt?
Yeah, I'll go Ben Hunt. Yeah,
100%.
For the sake of it, I was going to do something else, but then he's going to win Dally M. It's hard to.
Oh, he should, bro. He should.
Yeah, I think that's pretty set.
It's going to be interesting though. He's going to win Dally M, and they're not going to make finals. That's what they say is the sure thing about Dally M is that because if you're in a good team like Penrith or something, each week you've got 6 or 7 guys competing for points. You know, like 1 week Cleary could get 3 points of Penrith, the next week Kikau, but for a team like the Dragons, who's getting points? Like it's pretty much so what happened with Roger for the Warriors. We came 8th, and no one else in our team was good apart from him. So he got points every week, you know, because they have to give it to even if you lose, one of your players has to get a point at least. So even when they lose, Ben Hunt's getting a point. So that is the sort of dumb thing. Where in NBA, you pretty much have to be a top 2 side to have the MVP in your team or a top 3. So yeah, that's interesting, and I don't know how I feel about it that you can miss the finals and you can win Dally M. I don't know.
I don't rate it because it just shows that him as a player isn't like turning over to wins. You know, I feel like if that good of your team should be getting wins.
Like at least make the finals, like top 8. It is a bit stupid. Sweet.
All right.
Moving on to
the Raiders.
Yeah.
We got, you start us off, Joshie.
Yeah, this was a struggle for me as well. Like, I didn't want to go for like the mainstream guy again, but it's like I couldn't really find another guy in the rate. Like Sebastian Chris has had a good season, like an underrated season. Like no one's really gone on about it, but I just feel like there's been when Whiten was out for 3 weeks for suspension or injury, they were a completely different side than they had. So I think I'm going to go Whiten, but I can see the case for Sebastian Chris. He's got like 14 tries this year. And no one even really knows about it. So, yeah.
I went a completely different route. I went with Joe Tarpany.
Oh, okay.
He's at a season. I rate him so highly. I'm going to give it to him over Whiten for sure.
This was really awkward because I am torn between those 2 players.
What?
I mean, Tarpany's had an amazing season, but then, as you said, Josh, the impact without Whiten, they just haven't been playing up to their standard of footy. And
I'm happy to go Tarpany. Sorry, my list actually didn't have him. I just realized I have like a list. I'm actually happy to go. I'm happy to go.
I just felt that so funny. I was like, of course, I'm the one that has to choose between the 2 players.
I just went Whiten because I thought there was literally no other option pretty much, but we kind of said it. I'm like, yeah, that probably makes more sense. I'm happy to go Tarpany.
All right, we can go Tarpany. Most definitely.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Okay, who's next?
All right, Broncos, is it?
Yeah.
All right, Connor, what have we got?
I went Adam Reynolds / Corey Oates. I was torn between the 2. Like most of the tries that Corey Oates scores is off Adam Reynolds anyway. So if I had to pick one, I'd go probably Adam Reynolds, one of the buys of the season, completely changed that team. But yeah, Oates has kind of found a bit of form, and I had to give him a mention. So
yeah. Just what were they last year? Like 14th, biggest laughing stock, had no halves. Just shows how one player, one good signing can make a difference. They're in the 8. Probably should finish in the top 8. They might choke it, but when he was out those couple games, they really did struggle. Ezra Mam's now obviously come in and it's actually good to have like a calming halfback. And I don't think the Rabbitohs have really missed him. At times in big games, you can see Ilias is not up to Reynolds' standard, but yeah, Reynolds is for me.
Yeah, I was torn between Reynolds and Katoni Staggs. Just the two players. I think Staggs in that centre roles. He's just had a really good season, and but yeah, I gotta agree. Adam Reynolds is as you said, by the season. He's just changed the Broncos completely. So definitely gonna go him.
Yeah. So now it's the Rabbitohs. So this is where we sort of get into the teams where they've had some, like they've had probably 4 or 5 standout guys, and it's like I could see all three of us having different ones. So we'll go with you here, Liam, first. Who you got for your MVP for the Rabbitohs? It's a tough one.
God, yeah, I could pick, I swear, like 5 or 6 of these guys. They've all just like, I mean, you could pick everyone on the field, but it's just, it really depends. Like, I'm torn between. I mean, my 2 torn. If I had to pick 2, it's got to be Alex Johnson and Damien Cook. But it's so tough to pick between the 2 of them. You may pick Johnson, but I'm gonna go Cook here. I just think he's had a superb season in that hooker role. I'm torn. I could go either way on both of them, but yeah, I mean, as I said, there's about 5 or 6 you could pick, but yeah, gotta go Cook on this one.
I was torn between 2, but it was a different 2. Mine was Latrell Mitchell and Alex Johnston. So
correct.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's where it comes into like effect. Has Latrell played enough games this year to be considered?
Yeah.
You know,
that's what. I've put Johnston, but that in brackets I've put Latrell because how many games has he actually played? I was going to actually check, but the games he has played's been that good. You know, there's been some games where he's won it on his own.
I kind of just avoid it. Like he has made a massive impact when he's played, but just because he's been so injured and hasn't played that many games, I just thought I was picking one of the guys that has just been playing consistently.
Because it's they were struggling in that little period there when he was out, so that was one of the reasons why I was like, oh, I'm really keen on. He has played 12 games this season. That doesn't sound like enough. It doesn't sound like enough. I'll stick with Johnston, but his impact's been pretty insane, Latrell. But yeah, are we happy with Johnson?
Is Johnson still? Is he up for the top try scorer this year?
Easily.
Miles, yeah. He's on 27 tries.
Yeah, wasn't he? Isn't he close to breaking some record or something? Or no?
I think he's on like 170 tries, and the record of all times 212. So he should break that. Which it doesn't feel like he's been that elite, but he has at the same time. He's been consistent, but then people bring to question: is Johnston pretty much just catching the ball and putting it down some of the time because the teammates are so good? But I feel like you can't fluke it that long, you know.
So if you're scoring 170 tries over your career, it's like you got to be doing something right. It can't just all be luck.
Yeah. Next is the Roosters, and I feel like for me personally, it's between my Supercoach captain a lot of the year, Liam's Supercoach captain for a lot of the year, Joseph Manu or James Tedesco. I don't know if you have another person, Liam or Connor, but those were my 2 personally, and I still.
I just had Tedesco straight out. I didn't even Joseph Manu. Just the way that Teddy's been playing, I think he's been on another level.
Yeah. I felt like some games Manu was like excellent, but Tedesco the whole way through the season, and you can see that in Supercoach, he's averaging 80, 90, where Manu could get 140 one game and then 40 the next. So I think I was like sort of leaning towards Tedesco, but I thought Manu deserved a mention.
Yeah, no, that's fair, Josh. I had Tedesco up there, but yeah, as you said, there's a couple of players in there that deserve a mention.
Sweet. Next one is the Parramatta Eels. Who you got here, Liam?
Oh, I'm torn between 2, and that's Mitchell Moses and Dylan Walker. I just think, sorry,
Dylan Brown.
Oh, Dylan Brown. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Right.
My bad. Misread. No, yeah. I'm gonna go. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna go Moses in there. Yeah, I just think he's had a superb season.
Agreed.
I went with Dylan Brown, but I do love Mitch Moses. Dylan Brown's had a standout year, I think, and Moses is just like consistently winning it. So it'd be
Yeah.
nice for.
Yeah, it's a hard one when it's sort of same Tedesco and Manu. Like Brown can have these games where he looks like the best player in the world, but then other games that you can sort of go missing a bit. So where Moses and Tedesco sort of say. Melvin Storm next. This was another one where I was like, fuck, there's a lot of people I could pick here. They've got like a star-studded side. We'll go with Connor here. We'll see what he thinks. He's had a few Melbourne Storm players in his super coach this year.
I feel like this one's just an instant get the brooms out. I think Munster was superb. I think he was the best player in the league this year by a mile.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the Dally M thing is like he probably has been, but it's like some games like in that Storm 70-10, he wouldn't have got, but in any other team he would have. It's sort of how the Dally M works. There is a case which I have seen from people. Another guy in Connor's team, we're talking about, Connor?
Nah.
He might not remember him because he actually got injured quite early in the season. But like Latrell only played 12 games. Ryan Pappenhausen, he scored 50
I was gonna ask, I was gonna say Munster is my pick, but I was gonna say, do we consider Pappenhausen?
I think the 12 games, we've already said no to Latrell. We can't say I agree with Munster, but it's
Pappenhausen was the best player in the whole league, like when he was playing and healthy, but just getting injured, it's just so unlucky. I reckon you'd have to give it to Munster now.
Yeah, check the LEM thing. It went to round 20 and he got injured in round 13 and he still at round 20 was 5th on the Dally M leaderboard and he hadn't played 8 games since then. Like he was
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Okay, we've got the top 3. We've got 10 minutes. Liam, rattle it through for us.
All right, let's go. The Sharks, the Cronulla Sharks. All right. You wanna go, Joshy?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go Nico Hines. I think that's simple and easy, but
I mean, do we have any others? Because that's what I was thinking.
100% agree.
Yeah,
he's been good.
It just shows that there was like 3-4 teams that got halfbacks this year. The Sharks, the Cowboys, the Broncos, and the Warriors bought new halfbacks. 3 out of 4 of them have been pretty good, I think. Hines, Reynolds, Townsend, and John. Yeah, it just shows that buying is key. Buying a good halfback. But anyway. We'll ask Connor this one.
Yeah, Connor, what have you got? The next is the Cowboys. Who have we got, Connor?
This one, again, I was torn between 2, but I narrowed it down to 1. I had Valentine Holmes and Ruben Cotter, but I ended into Valentine. So I think he's had a standout year. He's back to his old Sharks form and center's definitely position, as I said. So, yeah.
I'm happy with that. I think Cotter, if he played the whole season, I probably would have gone for him just because of the rise. And we did have him on our bench in the combined team, which is good between us 3. It was good.
Yeah.
But
they're like, I'm definitely going to agree with you on that one. But like, I mean, Jeremiah Nanai is just, he's definitely got to be up there for most improved. I would even put him in contention for MVP, honestly. Like the stuff he's done, and he's 3-4 tries away from breaking the record from a rookie amount of tries in a season or something.
I think it's most for a forward.
A forward, sorry, yeah. So I'm just
time it's pretty insane, but I feel like with him, I don't know if you agree, Connor. It's like the little things that he can sometimes like the tries look amazing, but then there's like a head high tackle or there's like a dunk drop, like. But we love him because he's been on the podcast. But like,
had to mention him.
So we're happy with Holmes. Yeah, good.
Okay, moving on to number 1, Josh. Who we got for the Penrith Panthers?
This is the one I was most stuck on. I had Edwards, and then I saw like everyone was saying it has to be Isaiah Yeo, but then I've sort of been going back and forth because Yeo's was second on Dally M before it closed, and it feels but Edwards was like 8th. So I feel like Edwards has gone better since it closed. But when they won those games when all those players were out, that rep round, Dylan Edwards was the only player from the starting 17 that was in it the next week because they were all international and state of origin, and they still won those games. And I think Crichton said Cleary's our quarterback in attack and Edwards is our quarterback in defense. So I think Edwards is so underrated. I'll go Edwards, but I can see why people would go,
I also had. So I had Edwards as well. I thought that was a no-brainer the way that he's been playing. So, and he did well for me in Supercoach as well with Pappenhausen. I had to get the.
I swear you were trying to trade him out at the start of the season.
He wanted Gutho. He definitely
did trade. He kept messaging the chat and he's just like, does anyone please take Edwards off my hands? I do not want him.
I did Gutho for Edwards for like 3 rounds straight, keep sending it to him, declined, send it to him again, declined. I was like, could have been season defining right there.
I know Puppy was going to go down. He was my teams this year, like far out.
You gotta always strategize that bench, mate. You gotta strategize that bench. You never know who's gonna be injured. But yeah, no, honestly, gotta agree. I'm between you, Josh. I'm the same as you, Yo and Edwards. Like I can see why you'd give it to both of them, or like either or. But definitely have to go to Edwards from how he's performed this season.
Sweet. I'll send this to you straight away, Liam. I'll quickly go through it. Tigers, Hastings. I'll just go with the players. Hastings, Tino, Saifidi, Fanua Blake, Adokar, Garrick, Hunt, Tarpany, Reynolds, Johnston, Tedesco, Moses, Munster, Hines, Holmes, Edwards. And I felt like if we predicted at the start of the year, we would have got hardly any of these, to be honest. But that's just a quick thing. 4 minutes to go. People have been asking about this on socials. Are you guys going to do your rookie team of the years and your team of the years as we did last year? Because they were some iconic episodes. That's where Liam did some great moves. Are we going to do that again, boys? People have been asking for it. Do we run it back?
I think we have to.
Yeah, we've got a few interviews coming up, but I feel like we have to react to our ladder prediction from the start of this year, and we have to do the rookie team of the year. Maybe not the rookie team of the year because there's, I don't know, because it almost seems like it's too easy, but team of the year will be quite interesting because I saw Clarkey having some debates with fans, but I think we have to do it for the fans. We got to make it a tradition, but yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, definitely that ladder prediction in the next week or so, just before finals. So yeah, a lot of content, interviews, few podcasts, just us three, and definitely some finals content coming out soon, eh?
Predictions.
Yeah. Make sure to check us out on our socials. Head Up Rugby League on YouTube, Instagram, and thanks for listening. This has been very interesting. Some great debates, but we have had some very similar picks, but I think they've been quite obvious. Anything more, boys?
No.
No.
Bring on finals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to and finals. Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next week for our episode, and we'll see you later.
Peace.